Alright, all you moviegoers out there, welcome back to the Indy Radio Arcade. And if you're wondering out there, ladies and gentlemen, why in the world this show was later than what we advertised in the intro, well, thanks to Kawasaki season and a parade of lawnmowers, here we are. And I think they were doing laps around my house, so yeah, that's what happened for this week. But besides all of that, folks, I think it's time for us to go into another thrilling edition and tribute to Jason Statham himself of the 3MR. And the Jason Statham movie we have up on the plate for this week is none other than Crank 2 High Voltage. And that was the reason why we mentioned AC/DC in the intro, cause, you know, High Voltage, Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap, and any other song they came out with on that one album. But besides that, folks, the meat and potatoes of this said, I can't believe it's a sequel type movie. After the events that happened in the first film, Chev Chelios finds himself in a coma, waking up after 3 months to find out that his heart was taken by the Chinese mobsters, only for him to fight all the way around town, keeping his heart pumping with any form of static electricity charge he can get, and would also try to fight to get his heart back while trying to avoid any form of people who are still after him in the streets of Los Angeles. And that's the easiest meat and potatoes we can give for this said film, that I still can't believe this movie was a sequel. Now, we don't want to reveal what happened in the first movie, but if you got a chance to see the first one, and when you saw the commercial like I did when they said this movie was going to have a sequel, I said, how? How? I was with my sister and I still don't understand how this movie got a sequel. But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, what did I like about this film? Well, besides the fact that they included the girl who was included in the classic movie of The Crow, Bai Ling, who was included in this said movie, and also you had Chester Bennington once again making an appearance during the sequel of this said film as a Hollywood Park guy. But new to the cast, besides the recurring characters that was in the film before, you also have Joseph Soria, who was featured during the said movie The Purge election year, and was also featured during the movie Hamlet 2, which was a funny movie too, by the way. And you even had the legend himself, one half of the Coreys, Corey Haim, who was featured during the said film as well. And for those who don't know who Corey Haim is, he was the one featured during the classic vampire flick known as The Lost Boys, which still to this day, next to Interview with a Vampire and Bram Stoker's Dracula, has to be one of my favorite vampire-like movies to date. I would have included Van Helsing, but I think that's on the list by default. But I digress, folks. Another thing that I loved about this movie is if you thought the first movie with all the crazy things they had in it was nuts, this movie cranks it up to an 11 by not only featuring porn protests, horse track racing, and a whole wiki list of other crazy things that was featured during the said film, which was absolutely outrageous. And to spoil one scene from this said film, which has to be one of my favorite scenes in this entire movie, outside of the part where Chelios decides to climb up to an electrical tower to try to recharge his heart, probably the part where he was fighting against the other guy who actually got away with his heart, and fighting him in a giant Godzilla-like scene that was featured in this film. I kid you not when I say this, folks. It's a shot-for-shot thing that reminded me of the old classic Godzilla films, or something from the video game Backyard Wrestling 2, There Goes the Neighborhood, when they were fighting on that miniature golf course, which was pretty cool. And before we forget, one of the last things that we really did love about this movie, besides all the chaos, had to have been the soundtrack featured during this said film because it included an REO Speedwagon classic song of Keep On Loving You. And the way they used it during the movie, absolutely hilarious, but magical at the same time. Now, with sequel movies like this, we like to do something we like to call on the show to sequel or not the sequel. And with a movie like this, with all the craziness that would happen during it, I would have to say, yeah, it definitely deserved the sequel. And not to mention the outtakes afterwards, yeah, work of art. And seeing the fact that we don't know how to view movies along the lines of Siskel and Ebert or any of those other famous movie reviewers that you know of out there, we say this. If you want to watch a movie featuring Chet Chelios coming back from the dead only to do the same thing he did 3 months ago while causing as much chaos as he did in the first movie, only this time amping up to an 11 due to his electrical heart, by fighting porn stars and other crazy things throughout the streets of Los Angeles like a real-life video game of sorts, which makes me wonder why in the world no video game company was able to pick this up to make it into an actual game. Then I recommend you go out there and watch that flick. And by chance, I got a feeling it may be on FX or some form of action movie-like channel because that's what they usually show on Saturdays or during the weekend. I don't know why, but they always pick the weekend for action movies. Don't blame them. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back into the music, and when we return, we'll be back with more of that 8-bit goodness that only the Indie Radio Arcade can provide, right after a word from our sponsors. So don't run out of quarters just yet, folks, and stay tuned.